Hello, welcome back. Last week we saw that our feelings and emotions following a situation typically answers six questions based on which our response takes place. Let's see what those questions are, taking the same example as the husband and wife, the couple, where the wife felt very hurt and angry when her husband takes away the shirt from her, saying, I'll clean it myself. So, the first question is what happened unexpected? That is, did the wife expect her husband's reaction to be so or not? The answer is she did. She did expect more or less similar reaction from her husband, and that's because this has been the pattern even before. So, whenever she didn't do something up to his expectations, this has been his reaction. He would say, okay, I'll do it myself. I'll take care of it myself. And the wife would feel hurt and would sulk for 1 or 2 days. But being husband and wife under the same roof, they cannot keep ignoring each other for long, right? Children or other household commitments would compel them to break this and they would start talking again. And everything goes back to normal till once more something like this happens and a pattern develops here. Let's move on to the second question. Is what happened enjoyable? Not at all, because the wife feels very useless when something like this happens and she feels convinced her husband does not think much of her. And there may be several reasons for this. We shall discuss this a little more detail later. Thirdly, is what happened going to make it easier or harder for me to get what I want? So, what did the wife want? She wanted her husband to respect her, to appreciate her, to approve her. Something like, you did your best. I guess this is a tough strain, and maybe I could have been more careful myself. Something like that, that would make her feel slightly better for not being able to remove the stain fully. Fourth question. Can I control what happens next? And will I be able to cope with what happened? The wife expected a little bit of appreciation from her husband, which obviously he did not understand. And what he saw was unjustified anger from her at the drop of a hat. And she can't force appreciation out of a person, right? So the wife being dependent on her husband's approval and appreciation to feel good about herself. And when that was not forthcoming, she's not able to cope with that. Next, does what happened match with what I think is right and wrong? This is a very important question. The wife already did not have a very high opinion of herself. She had felt very inadequate and that she doesn't earn like many other women. She doesn't have a career. She is wasting her life and so on. There's a very deep rooted thought in her, and the way her husband reacts to such situations actually confirms to her what she's thinking about herself. And everyone else in their home also, including the mother-in-law or even the children, would only point out her inadequacies, her mistakes, not what she gets to do. And this made her not realize her own strengths. And this made her forget what all she actually manages to get done in a day, how much she's contributing to keeping the family together and running small things, which is taken for granted not only by others but by herself also. The last question is what happened, my fault or someone else's? Right from the beginning, she's been having a misgiving that she's not developed her potentialities, that she's not allowed herself to grow as much as she would have wanted to for several reasons. She didn't make use of opportunities, she wasn't working hard enough, or she wasn't focused enough, and so on. At the same time, she also felt that others, the primary caregivers in her life, her parents, now her husband, that they also did not give her the space and the guidance to kind of develop herself, to motivate herself more, to push herself a little more, to spread her wings. So she blamed herself and others equally. All these put together made her think, am I born just to wash shirts? And even that I'm not doing properly. Hence, the outburst whenever these kind of thoughts get triggered. And all these feelings and thoughts get processed in a matter of seconds, and out comes the reaction. And we wouldn't want to continue this kind of outbursts, right? Even the wife was not happy that she's having this kind of outbursts, that they thinks such thoughts are overwhelming her. Therefore, she also felt the need to, how do I manage this? How do I avoid such outbursts? Okay, so next week, shall we see more about how to learn to handle our emotions a little more calmly, how to regulate our emotions? More on that next week. So, what is emotion regulation? So, a very useful tool to identify the feelings that we have is, now you may ask, and very rightly so, hey, look, when I'm angry or scared or hurt, I just know that I'm just angry. I'm just angry or scared. How can I be observing all this at that moment? Is that practical? It's a very valid question. Yes, it's quite possible and we can do it. It needs a little bit of understanding, awareness, and a lot of practice. All of us have heard our parents, grandparents, or elders advise us, when you're upset, just go drink a glass of water or remove yourself from that place or count from 10 to 1, right? Heard them? There's a lot of sense in that.